So it's Black Friday season, that strange week where every app suddenly screams last chance and we all pretend that we weren't shopping just 3 days ago. Nothing feels more comforting than a discount that looks too good to be real, because sometimes, well, it is. Platforms stretch it into Black Friday weekend, week, and now practically a festival. Brands call it value. It's really just strategic inventory cleansing disguised as generosity. And honestly, we love the drama. The psychology is the real blockbuster. Countdown timers, 12 a.m. drops, only 2 left, and deals that magically expire the moment you blink. Phones that aren't even a year old suddenly feel outdated. Carts fill up faster than logic can catch up, and somehow everything we didn't plan to buy becomes actually necessary. Then comes the big ticket temptations, like the iPhone suddenly going half its price. Great deal? Sure. Smart marketing? Absolutely. So here we are again, trying to decide if we're saving money or just spending it with more enthusiasm. Black Friday isn't about need anymore. It's about the thrill, the urgency, the beautifully engineered chaos. Like I said, we love the drama, because in the end, nothing is more expensive than a discount you did not need. And to discuss this further, joining me today on The Breakfast Club are Bejon Mishra, consumer expert, and Dr. Amushree Jha, director, DIVINITI. Thank you so much for joining me on The Breakfast Club this morning.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you, Emma.
It's so great to have you with us. Now, let me just go on to Mr. Mishra first. I want to understand, what is your take on this entire Black Friday frenzy?
Well, it's not a new phenomena. It's been existing globally and now being seen very actively in a proactive manner, being offered to the consumers in India. I see it as a good initiative in terms of empowering consumers to have choice and be able to access a product which they were unable to access within their purchasing power. So it's a good kind of a move that we have been bringing it in India, but we must learn lessons from the West, from where it has got originated. And we must make sure that it doesn't get repeated in India. In India, we should have India-centric approach to such sale. And in my view, we have a very strong law in our country, which is known as the Consumer Protection Act of 2019. And we also have now a regulator called the Central Consumer Protection Authority. So, which is a kind of a real achievement, which India has shown to the world that we believe in regulations, but in a very calibrated manner to ensure that the industry grows, consumers have a choice, and consumers are able to get the best value for money and improve accessibility, of course, of quality products at the marketplace. So it has to be taken in a manner that it is balanced and it is India-centric. I always want to use that word, India-centric, because we can't copy and paste regulations or kind of a marketing strategy which is adoptable in the West and we just copy and paste in our own country. It can't happen like that. It has to be India-centric. We have to understand the psyche of the Indian consumer. We have to understand the psyche of the retailers in India. We have to understand the psyche of the manufacturers. We have to look into all the aspects, dimensions in terms of everybody who is involved to bring that smile on the face of the consumer.
All right, now Amushree, let me just come to you and discuss this like honest answers only. Do you think this is a genuine discount season, or would you call it inventory cleansing? I'm sure you have a different take on this entire situation as well.
Is it me?
Amushree.
Oh, yeah. See, I feel it's a bit of both. Okay, because consumers they are more into psychological buying these days. If something is on discount, they would definitely go and have some on the spot shopping. So it's rather a bit of more psychological, I'll say. And definitely the impact of West Black Friday has definitely catch up with India over the years. So I'll say, yeah, it's a bit of both. There are real deals also, because at times when you go, you get exceptional deals at particular brands or particular places, and consumers just walk in to see the deals. So that is more of a psychological thing for consumers these days.
All right. Thank you so much for mentioning that psychological buying, and that's what we really want to get into. Mr. Mishra, why do you think these 70% off, last chance, 12 a.m. drops, why do you think it always works on us year after year? What is the psychology behind this?
The crave, or you can say the craze for accessing a product.
Right.
We create a dream, in the consumer. The consumer dreams that, I wish I had this watch, or I wish I had this iPhone. But when he tries to buy it, he finds that it's not within his budget. It's not affordable for him. So he waits for that opportunity. And naturally, the manufacturers, the retailers, everybody in the supply chain, they also want to find out that what is that actual value we can give to that consumer, in how many times of the year, in what manner we can give. These are all well engineered, I would say, well thought out marketing plans, which gets implemented. So I always feel, yes, there is a large bit of impulsive buying which goes into it, which is psychological also, because we crave to have a product, we dream to have a product. So we wait for that opportunity. But, I always feel that this is where the role of the regulator comes in. This is where the role of, the ethical industry comes in, where industry comes in a manner which is very ethical, honest, and in a way that you don't push somebody to buy something by creating a debt. That sometimes I am not in favor of, because I personally feel that the consumer should be able to afford it in the manner the consumer can actually manage, and not, create a debt for himself and not being able to manage it, because he had a dream and he wanted it and he could buy it through various schemes like EMIs and other, financial support system which comes in, but he's not able to manage it at times, and then that the trap starts, the real challenge happens to the consumer.
Absolutely. Yes. And thank you so much for mentioning that as well, because that's a very important point that we will touch on and we will discuss this further. Amushree, on that note, I just want to come to you. Do you think perhaps sometimes buyers will confuse a good price, a good deal, thinking it's a good decision? Do you think that's a confusion that happens also when we create this engineered sense of urgency during these sales?
Yes, I do feel that. And what I feel more than that is that I feel that if the demand is more, if the supply is more than the demand, the value of that particular product or that particular thing also, just doesn't remain, in the category which we deal is luxury gifting. So in our segment, we say that if the supply is more than the demand of the customers, it's no more luxury. If it is easily accessible, if it has 70% discount, so that is why at Divinity we have limited stocks and limited discounts. And because we say that because all our products are handcrafted, so we don't give discounts on the entire store like probably a brand like Sephora would do or some other brands would do, because we cannot afford that. We cannot handcraft everything with a 70% discount tag and provide it hugely in the market. So we just limit our inventory to the standard products, which goes into the 70% frenzy, because we want to cater every segment, but we definitely reserve our the niche clientele, and we protect that by just limiting our inventory to certain.
Right. All right, so scarcity is luxury then, I believe. Mr. Mishra, let me come to you. You are a consumer expert. I want to ask you, are these iPhone-style half-price drops real deals or cleverly packaged illusions? Because to some, this is exactly what pushes them into these traps that you were mentioning earlier. Debt, taking on perhaps biting off more than you can chew. You are buying these on credit, something that you may not be able to pay back. What is your opinion on this?
Yeah, Hema, these are all very cleverly crafted, as you use that word. I would like to use that also. It's very cleverly crafted because, you see, at the end of the day, the manufacturer or the retailer wants to sell their inventory. They don't want to keep it. My only issue comes that first, the product has to be genuine. We have to ensure that we are buying from the right place, in the right manner, and we are assured the right quality, even though it is discounted. That is very important. We must understand that it is not put on sale just because it had certain defects or certain lacunas in terms of its quality. So they put it into a sale, and the consumer, in an innocent manner, buys a product which is actually termed as defective. So we have to be very sure about that, and we have to make sure that the realistic price comes in. You see, what I get very worried about is when I see a lot of discounts at the marketplace, which actually brings in the price point or the value for money, but most of the time it becomes deceptive, it becomes misleading. It takes the consumer a while to understand whether he's actually getting the value for money or not. So we all have to ensure that there is a lot of transparency, accountability, integrity in terms of the sale. And that is where, again, I always repeat, the biggest, game changer which has happened in India is the enactment of the Consumer Protection Act, which was way back in, 1986. But now the new regime has brought in a new law in a new manner, where rules have been framed for e-commerce platforms, rules have been framed for direct marketing companies. So now we are more into a very clear, transparent marketplace. So what I am all the time looking at is, even if somebody is trying to be crafty or trying to be deceptive, the regulator has to be awake and protect that consumer. So consumer protection is paramount, as you know. So, and there are ethical players who also needs to be encouraged. So we always have to empower the consumers to differentiate between those crafty people and the genuine people. So we need to empower them with credible information, with such information which empowers the consumer to get that value for money and not being able to get cheated. And if they are cheated, then they get a compensation straight away without going to the judicial system, which in our country is very cumbersome, highly expensive, and not accessible at all for a common man. So I would always encourage that the regulator should be kept alert. The government must ensure that such crafty deals which are being done at the marketplace, which innocent consumer won't come to know, but people who do research, who do studies regularly, are on a surveillance mechanism at the marketplace, they come to know, and that should be reported immediately to the regulator. And these are for example, your channel is today, talking on the breakfast time to citizens who are leisurely listening to us. Why? Because you have taken the courage, or you can taken the initiative to educate the consumer that how you should use this opportunity, the Black Friday opportunity or any sale, where you plan from before, you ensure that you don't overrun, you manage your finances in that manner, that you make a list of what you actually want in an affordable manner, and then when the opportunity comes, you go in at the right place, in the right manner, and promote the brand which is correct and which is very ethical, which looks after the consumer, which is pro-consumer, and share your experience. You see, I am always of the view that consumers should keep sharing their experience with certain brands. And if you have a good kind of an experience, then it has to be shared. And if you had a bad experience, that also needs to be shared. So I always believe that if to sell your product, you need to adopt certain strategies, then it has to be ethical.
Right.
That's the most important.
All right, thank you so much for mentioning that. Of course, next time you find yourself impulse buying, perhaps make a list first, do some market research and then decide what you have to buy. And Amushree, on that, I want to come to you as well. You must have noticed certain patterns at Divinity as well. Would you say Black Friday has turned into India's perhaps biggest impulse buy festival?
Yeah, you can say that, because platforms actually do give discounts and that do lures the consumers. It's not completely, just a gimmick. At times, the consumers do get the real deals. But as rightly said, that the deal should be actually real. It should not be delusional. The consumer should not feel cheated after that. So that is something which the brands need to take care. Like at our brand Divinity, we definitely keep that in mind, because our Black Friday offers are not shockingly so high. We have reasonable discounts, and our MRP doesn't just skyrocket immediately. And so I'll say that definitely it is there, but it has to be a little reasonable for the consumers.
All right, and as Sir mentioned as well, he really focused on the role of the consumer here as well, and which is really what we want to discuss also. From a brand standpoint, how do you think people can avoid, or buyers can avoid, this entire guilt of buying things that they didn't plan to buy and then maybe later trying to justify it?
See, I think that becomes a little, personal for an individual, right? That how much can they resist the luring deals? This is where, the marketing plays, the psychology plays. And, it's a little personal choice for the consumers. But I'll say that, yes, definitely consumer also needs to be a little smarter in knowing that they know that this Black Friday sale comes, and, they can obviously manage their finances in a better manner to, get the real deal. And the company also have a onus on them, to provide good deals plus the good products. The products definitely, they should not feel cheated later on. That should definitely be the target from both the, even consumers' point of view as well as the company's point of view. Both should play ethical, definitely.
All right, Ms. Mishra, to that I want to come to you as well. Now, when we were researching for this, I saw a lot of websites that were offering drops from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m., 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. These midnight deal drops, specifically time drops, do you think it messes with our sense of urgency and self-control? Mr. Mishra.
Oh, thank you. Oh, sorry. Yes, of course. You see, again, consumer convenience comes in. Like I always mention, that if a consumer helpline is existing, it's not an helpline if it is not 24/7. I always believe that the helpline has to function 24/7, because we have to understand the convenience of the consumer, what time he wants to connect with you, how they want to connect. So even purchasing is such that you should be able to make it available at times which you might feel, or I might feel that it is not convenient to me, but it is convenient to maybe somebody else. And all around the world, people are buying today online. So we also have to look at the time, what's happening around the globe in various countries. So it could be a night for you, midnight, but it's early morning for somebody else. So we have to understand those kind of convenience of the consumer and then target it in that manner. It has got nothing to do with that you will buy more at a certain time or certain point of the day or things like that. Because if you have made up your mind, then you will definitely buy it whenever it is made available. So you would have options in terms of your convenience, because you go out to work or you are working from home, so you are tied up, so you may not get time for shopping. So you would like to do it at a time which is convenient, and the seller also gives you that opportunity to give you that time slot when you are happy to shop around, So that kind of a convenience comes in. So I always feel that the consumer's convenience is paramount. And that is where we all have to understand. And in my 45 years career, I have always believed that we all live out of the consumer who pays for all of us for whatever we are doing. So he has to be in the front line. We have to become customer centric. India has to move towards that, because that is where the actual growth will be,
Absolutely. Now, Amushree, let me come to you. Do you think FOMO is now the biggest driver of online shopping behavior? And as Sir mentioned, how do you as a brand then prioritize consumer convenience when it comes to these drops or these sales or limited edition products that you do?
See, definitely I'll say these kind of deals, they trigger an instant FOMO in the consumers, because they just feel that, they are missing something which someone else is grabbing. So it definitely triggers the FOMO. But, at Divinity, when we say limited, so we genuinely limit it. And, because our products are, handcrafted, they take time. So we genuinely limit our inventory that way. But, definitely we would like to give our customers the same, impulse reasons to buy at times. And we do that, but with a limited inventory, I'll say.
Can I come in?
Absolutely. Please do, sir.
You see, when you say we are very genuine, and don't take me otherwise, I believe you, but you must bring in some kind of a credibility. When you are saying, I do it in a very genuine manner, let there be a third-party audit and say that, rather than you praising yourself. So that would help. Or how you bring in that data in public domain is very, very critical and important. Let me
definitely, sir. We are a 65-year-old company, and
no, I'm not. That's why. That's why I told you that.
All right.
I am only looking at the mechanisms, the way what you are saying to be converted into a credible message to the consumer.
All right.
See, I want to just say the last thing. In India, all these discounts are actually termed as unfair trade practice, let me tell you.
All right.
The definition of unfair trade practice clearly mentions that whatever is your price, you talk about that. Why are you talking about discount, sale, and all these kind of gimmicks?
because
consumers
love it, sir.
All
They
right.
love it.
All right. Thank you so much. We definitely hear you both. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. It's been a great discussion. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.